All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shatia from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is a response to the elder Barra in our camp. Very mighty brother, been dealing in the truth for quite a few years. I believe his page is GMS Austere Man. Highly suggest you subscribe and be heavily edified. But he did a video called Cries and Smiles, like Smiles and Cries. And it was a quote from the movie Training Day. But in the video, he made a good point about when you're going through things in life that you should have a certain attitude about yourself. You should have a certain amount of self-control. Okay, you can't be breaking down and as the expression goes in the modern day world, wear your emotions on your sleeve. And which is true, because even the scripture speaks of such a thing. When you go to Proverbs 25 and 28, it says, "He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." And I want to get that. Let's look up that word rule in the blue letter. My shar or my tazar. My tazar. It says restraint, control, basically like self-control. Okay, so when you read that, let's read that again and just plug in that word. He that hath no self-control over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Okay, you'll basically be a person that is just going to be emotional about everything. All right. And you have to remember that in this truth, as the scripture says, First Corinthians 10 and 13, it says, "There hath no temptation taken you but such as common to man." All right. Meaning that there's nothing that you're going to go through in life that somebody else has not already gone through before you. And if you truly understand the scripture and you understand about reincarnation, you're going to understand that you've been through all of this before. Okay? There's no situation that you're going to be going through or struggling with or experiencing that somebody else has not experienced or going through. Okay? Somebody's had their wife cheat on them. Somebody's lost children. Somebody's lost mothers and fathers and grandmothers. Okay? Folks have been homeless. Folks have had no money. Folks have had no girls, no jobs. All right? Super wicked ass family members. I mean, the list could just go on and on and on. All right? But all these things that I have listed, if you're going through them, there's somebody else who's going through it. And you have to remember, you've gone through this in previous lifetimes. So understanding the scripture, you must know that at the end of the day, the Lord is in control. And if the Lord is in control, then it should give you some type of peace of mind to be able to handle yourself in a way that you can keep your composure through many of the things that you go through in life. Because as spoken of in Isaiah 33:6, it talks about how wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. All right. And it's not just talking about the end times, it's talking about any time you're in this truth. Okay. Wisdom and knowledge will keep you stable. All right. It's not going to have you up there all angry and crying and boo-hooing. It's not to say that when you go through your trials and tribulations that you might not shed a tear or two. All right, that you may not have to confide in a brother, but you have to remember, being a man in this truth, okay, most likely than not, you will be a man that's put in a position of authority, meaning that you will be an example to people who are coming after you. And in being that example, you must conduct yourself in a way that shows younger men or inexperienced men under you or observing you that this is how you conduct yourself when you're going through trials and tribulations. As spoken of, I think it's Timothy. Yes. I just didn't know which one it was. Yeah, First Timothy 3. I'm going to just start from the top. It says, this is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. It says, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, okay, of good behavior. Okay, good behavior. It says, given the hospitality, apt to teach. It says, not given to wine, nor striker, nor greedy of filthy lucre, but patient. Not a brawler, not covetous. It says, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. It says, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? It says, I'm going to skip to verse 7. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. A good name. Likewise, must the deacons, this is another position of authority, okay? It says, likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre, holding the ministry of faith in pure conscience. It says, and let these also first be proved, then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Even so must their wives be grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let me skip down. It says, let the deacons be the husband of one wife, ruling their children in their own house as well. For they have used the office of a deacon well, purchased to themselves a good decree and great boldness in the faith which is in Hamashiach Yahushai. Okay, so it's giving you the conduct of a person that's in authority. And none of these qualities were listed as being overly emotional or being weak. Okay, all these qualities that were listed as it pertains to a bishop and a deacon, these were all qualities that the Lord said that if you are going to be in these positions, this is how you conduct yourself. These are all things that when the Lord is dealing with you, you have control. All right. You can be going through the most gruesome hell, and hey, for some time, brothers really even shouldn't even know that, you going through super hell. Now, I'm not saying you don't, like I said before, you don't shed a tear or two, you don't confide in a brother, but as a whole, you know, your conduct should reflect one that is still a reflection of self control, one that's still going to stand firm despite the obstacles. So that's all I wanted to say on this. I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say Shalom.